The God helmet is a device developed in the 1980s by Canadian neuroscientist Dr. Michael Persinger to study the relationship between brain activity and spiritual or mystical experiences. Formerly known as the Cohesion helmet, it was designed with magnetic coils that create weak electromagnetic fields around specific regions of the brain. The purpose was to see if stimulating certain brain areas, particularly the temporal lobes, could induce feelings that people often describe as spiritual, including sensations of an unseen presence, feelings of peace, or even direct experiences of God or other supernatural entities. While the God helmet remains an experimental tool, it has sparked a significant debate on whether mystical experiences could be purely psychological phenomena created by the brain, rather than evidence of an actual divine presence. When wearing the helmet, some people report profound feelings, including the sense that they are in the presence of a supernatural being.
There's like other things around me.
Okay, can you describe them?
They were just bodies of nothing, not doing anything, just chilling.
When the right hemisphere was being stimulated, she felt the presence of things around her. 5 entities that were faceless.
While others experience unusual sensations like floating, time distortion, or even feelings of fear. Persinger's experiments aim to demonstrate that these experiences could be artificially induced by stimulating specific brain regions. The temporal lobes, which are linked to perception, emotion, and memory, have shown to play a significant role in religious and supernatural experiences. Some studies suggest that people with more active temporal lobes are more likely to report religious or paranormal encounters, lending weight to the idea that brain activity might be responsible for these experiences.
I couldn't see down, my body was up more, so I could only see above.
Oh, above.
Yeah.
Okay. She had these marked intense feelings of visual sensations in always the upper visual field. Did you notice that? That's typical of the temporal lobe being activated.
The brain's temporal lobes seem especially significant when considering spiritual or mystical experiences because they help integrate sensory inputs and influence our emotional reactions to them. When the temporal lobes are affected by strong stimuli, people may feel sensations that are intense and difficult to categorize, often described as transcendent or spiritual. According to Persinger, these experiences might result from the brain's attempt to make sense of unusual sensory inputs, with the mind reaching for supernatural explanations to interpret unfamiliar feelings.
She actually counted them. You see her move her hand?
Yeah.
She was actually recreating it.
Yeah.
More than 80% of Dr. Persinger's subjects, whether they are religious believers or not, sense a presence from the God helmet. Under this view, religious or mystical experiences are a product of human psychology rather than contact with a divine being. The God helmet experiments have led some researchers to hypothesize that the idea of God or religious experiences could be a product of the brain's natural processes. Throughout history, people from various cultures have reported encountering divine beings or feeling the presence of a higher power. These experiences are surprisingly consistent, even across cultures with very different religious beliefs, which suggests that the brain might have a built-in tendency to produce these feelings under certain circumstances. Psychologists and neuroscientists often refer to this as cognitive predisposition, a natural tendency for humans to seek patterns, explanations, and meaning in their environment. For instance, when humans encounter something unknown or unexplainable, the mind tends to fill in gaps with explanations that feel satisfying, sometimes involving supernatural interpretations. The God helmet experiment suggests that when the brain is exposed to certain stimuli, such as specific electromagnetic fields or stressful and emotionally intense situations, it might be inclined to interpret these feelings as encounters with a divine presence. In other words, the mind may be wired to see God or feel a supernatural presence under certain conditions. This has led some researchers to propose that religious experiences may have evolved as a psychological mechanism, encouraging cooperation, unity, and social cohesion by creating shared beliefs in a higher power.
I see you checked here that the experiences did not come from my own mind. Can you describe that?
I was watching myself. So it wasn't me feeling like I was watching myself lying on the road.
You felt like what?
My head wasn't attached.
Okay, so you felt like your head was detached and somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
In many ancient societies, religious belief helped bind people together with common rules and values, fostering cooperation and collective identity. This social role of religion could indicate that the brain developed pathways that make religious belief feel deeply personal and powerful. Critics of the God helmet experiments point out that not all participants have mystical experiences, and some argue that religious feelings can't be reduced to brain stimulation alone. Spiritual believers often claim that the God helmet's effects are shallow or artificial compared to authentic religious experiences, which are often transformative and life-changing. Others argue that the helmet-induced experiences are too subjective, with different people reporting vastly different sensations, which might imply that the results are influenced by expectation or individual differences rather than a direct pathway to experiencing God.
Now, it says you saw vivid images this time.
Yeah, there's like heat coming up, like fire
Okay.
coming up around.
Which one did you like the best, the first or the second?
First one.
Like the first one? Okay. The one.
I want to float again. That was cool.
Despite the controversy, the God helmet's findings contribute to a growing body of research suggesting that spirituality may be rooted in the brain. For instance, scientists have found that people with temporal lobe epilepsy frequently report mystical or religious experiences. These insights have led researchers to propose that the brain has regions that, when stimulated in certain ways, produce the sensations associated with spirituality, even without external spiritual sources. The God helmet experiments don't necessarily disprove the existence of God or other spiritual beings, but they do raise intriguing questions about the nature of religious experience. If powerful spiritual feelings can be triggered by manipulating the brain, it suggests that at least part of religious experience could be a product of brain function. Whether these experiences reflect a reality beyond the brain remains an open question. However, the idea that religious experiences might be rooted in our neurology provides an exciting avenue for understanding spirituality and the human mind. In sum, the God helmet's ability to induce feelings that people describe as supernatural challenges traditional ideas of religion and spirituality. This presents the possibility that God and religious experiences might in part be a psychological phenomenon. This perspective doesn't necessarily dismiss the existence of a divine presence, but suggests that our experience of the divine could be influenced by the inner workings and physiology of our own brain. We thank you for watching our investigation into the God helmet and the divine, and invite you back for our next episode of A Godless Universe.